Hello, welcome to Lesson 8. This is going to be the first of the Drivve SSO training lessons. Drivve SSO, which stands for Drive Single Sign-On, is a combination of Drive Image and Drive Print. We can also combine Drive Image with any other login applications at the MFP. We call this a shared login. In this case, we're going to go through both that and the full single sign-on with Drive Print. So what we mean by single sign-on is a sharing of the credentials and the user information between Drive Image and Drive Print. In the case of Drive Image with another logon application, we know who the user is because we ask the device who's logged in. Then we can do an LDAP bind and get all their information. But you're not actually logged in as that user. In the case of Drive Print, we can actually get the user's password and all their information from Drive Print. And what this means is that anything that happens at the device panel within the application is happening as that user. So if you wanted to send an email and have it show up in your sent items, if you want to browse SharePoint or a folder directory dynamically so that you only see what you have access to, you can do that. Also with cloud applications like Google Apps or Microsoft 365, we don't require the user to enter their password again when they go to send an email or scan to OneDrive or anything. If Drive Image is combined with any other login application, typically the user does have to enter their password for some of those functions because we only know who the user is. We're not actually logged in as a user. So here you can see in this diagram sort of what's happening. Drive Print stores the user's credentials in the database in an encrypted table, and Drive Image, when you go to the Drive Image button and open up Drive Image, on the server, Drive Image will make an encrypted web service call to Drive Print to get the user's information. So nothing is ever stored on the device, nothing can be intercepted, and everything is happening over SSL. So here I'm going to show you how to actually set up Drive Single Sign-On. In this case, I've opened Drive Print and I'm going to go to the settings section, and there's only one thing that we need to do, which is check this SSO secure password storage box. Once we've done that, it'll alert Drive Print that it needs to keep that user's password up to date. What that means is it'll check the time that the password was last changed. So if you change your password at your desktop and you go to the device, it'll ask you to reassociate yourself. You won't have to enter your password again, you won't have to enter your username again, but right after you swipe your card or enter your PIN, it'll ask you to re-enter your password. And that'll be good until the next time it changes. So the way that we set that up in Drive Image is a little different than how we set up the typical Active Directory login. So if I go to Tools and Options, instead of having the Active Directory server set right here, we're actually going to be getting all the user's information from Drive Print. So here in the shared login section, we're going to enable WS host, and here this is just the IP address of the Drive Print server. You could also use the DNS name if that's set up as well. You see some other areas down here like user impersonation and single sign-on server. If some other application is handling the device login and Drive Image is just coming in afterwards, you set it up by enabling Active Directory, and it should automatically do an impersonation or an LDAP bind for that user, which means we know all the information about the user, but that user is not exactly logged in. You can do some advanced configuration here. A good place to look for documentation on that is Drivve.com. There are some white papers on specific impersonation and login templates that you can use. But pretty much, by and large, it works automatically when you have that set up. So, what do we actually mean by the things happening as the user rather than as a service account? I'm going to show you in this profile right here for scan to folder. In a lot of different places inside a Drive Image, you'll see this Edit Authentication Options dialog. When you click that, this will come up and you'll see actually how this is happening, or rather who it's happening as. So in this case, that folder selection, we're actually browsing those network resources as this Drive Image service account. You can also specify a specific account, or you can use the logged on user's credentials. In the case of single sign-on with Drive Print, this is the way to go because we actually have that user's credentials. If you entered this here and you were doing a regular single sign-on, or rather a shared login with another application, then the user would have to enter their password each time. So I'm going to leave it on as use logged on user's credentials, and what that means is when the user goes to browse that folder, it's actually going to browse that folder as that user.